Hello and welcome to Pop Snitch Pod. I'm Rachel.
I'm Brandon.
And I am so congested. I know, it's so bad. I finally got medication today. I got some antibiotics and I am praying that I can be taken from this house. So I apologize in advance. I will be slurping a little bit of hot water every now and then to try to keep my throat from being disgusting.
Yeah, so we've both been sick since, last Thursday or last Friday was when it started coming on?
Yeah.
And then this weekend we were patient zero, and then it spread to me on Saturday afternoon, and then we were sick all Monday and Tuesday.
It's not been great. Between this and the Epstein files drop, I have just been in a state of being distraught. I had to talk to my therapist about the Epstein files today.
Oh, no.
I was like, I'm just not okay. And how am I supposed to go about my life sending emails to strangers? When these freaks are sending emails about children to each other.
Yeah, it's hard to work on it's hard to work on your own issues when literally you feel like there's no justice in the world.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, cool. There's a pedophile cabal happening. And we're all just shrug.
Yeah. I mean, it's not been a great week in that vein.
It's been tough here. And then also today, James Vanderbeek died. And that was so sad.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, some of my quintessential high school memories are of rushing home to watch Dawson's Creek and talking about it with all of my friends and talking about the will they won't they of the Pacey and Dawson and Joey. Yeah, I mean, and it's sad. You've just seen him kind of wither away.
Yeah,
and it's very, 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 very sad.
Yeah, I saw this interview that was someone posted about it, and he was saying how he is actually really grateful that he got cancer, that he doesn't think he would know what it meant to slow down if he hadn't, and that it made him grateful for everything that he put into his body, all the food, all the medicine, and that most of all, it made him finally feel a sense of self-worth and self-love. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's just, you forget that stars, they're just like us, that they struggle with that as well. But it is sad. Doesn't he have 6 kids?
I think that, yeah, he does have a lot of children, I think. I mean, just the news is just insane. This thing with Savannah Guthrie's mom.
Oh my God, yes.
It's they always say in movies and stuff, and I imagine it's true, that after the 48 hours, the first 48 hours are crucial, and really anything after that, there's no guarantee that anybody will be returned. And it's we're over a week in now, and it's it's really looking bad. And they just released this doorbell footage, which just some prowler, it looks like. I mean, this is some deep, dark stuff going on here, and who knows, what is this?
It's to kidnap an elderly woman is not necessarily an easy task, and to somehow keep it off of CCTV for this long, I'm kind of flummoxed by it and by the ineptitude of the entire law enforcement apparatus around this. The fact that they didn't catch a camera on top of the house, a big ass camera, for over a week, and apparently the footage replaced every 3 days. And I'm like, y'all didn't catch that the first day? You have drones. It's not it was small.
And because of the widespread nature of this story, and the fact that this is the mother of a person who people wake up with every single morning.
Right.
It's the FBI director is in Arizona, working on this case.
Kash Patel is looking for anywhere to be but Washington, D.C., because that man said that there was nothing incriminating in those files and has been proved wrong over and over and over again this week. So he's like, you know what? Let me get on a new beat. I need to be in Arizona immediately. And we all know whenever he's in charge of stuff, he gives wrong information, which happened again the other night. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm just so frustrated with and you wonder when we're looking at all of this stuff, the Epstein stuff is very important. And we've got to like get to the bottom of all of that. But it's like, what are we missing out on when these are the stories that are coming across our like news feeds about like Super Bowl and like this, kidnapping and like all this kind of stuff? I'm like, what news, like what world news are we missing out on when we're being like bombarded with these like stories? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy too. Like we've been bombarded with such heavy news. But back to the thing with her mom, they got some tip allegedly and went and raided someone's house, like a delivery rider's house, and kept him overnight and found nothing. And it's like, what are y'all doing?
And they didn't read him his rights for like 2.5 hours or something like that.
I'm like, oh my God, why are y'all so stupid? So I don't know. The whole thing's crazy. But yeah, I was thinking about this, like not related to like dark news, but even in like pop news. Someone, I posted this on our stories, but someone was like, the Justin Trudeau, Katy Perry of it all, if this were 2015, it would be everywhere. Everyone would be talking about it. And when I tell you no one gives one single about their relationship, which is so funny to me, but like literally no one cares because like we've got too much. We're on overload. We can't handle it. We are at capacity with pop news and with the absolutely horrifying barrage of actual news that like you can't even look away from.
Well, and that's the whole thing. It's like, I'd love to be talking about how Orlando Bloom is seen out with some 28-year-old. Like, I would love that to be the pop news that we get to talk about. Meanwhile, Savannah Guthrie's mother has been abducted.
Yeah, Jill Zarin went on a racist rant about the Super Bowl halftime show.
Literally
lost her spot. I do think it is so wonderful that she like immediately lost her spot in the new show on E, which is the only reason that bitch didn't take it down or say a single word about it until she got the call from E. That was like, you're out of the show. And then today she's like,
People
human.
make mistakes.
We all make mistakes. Anybody who starts with like, I'm human and we can't all be perfect, I'm like, I don't care where you're going with this. I don't like it.
Well,
just own up to what you did.
It's like, let's get to the bottom of what people really had a problem with. Mm-hmm. Oh, Hispanic joy.
Yeah,
that was too much for me. Like I couldn't sleep at night, and I worried about the safety of my children because Hispanic people had joy on a football field.
I just don't understand like the people who get angry because something is not specifically catered to them. It is so bizarre to me. I'm like, if I see a Super Bowl halftime act and I'm like, I don't like that particular band or artist, I'm never like, the NFL sold out. I actually need now for someone to organize a separate halftime show because the NFL did not cater to my personal needs. Like the audacity of these freaks for like needing that is literally like my brain just starts stuttering. It cannot compute the level of narcissism and racism involved in needing to do that. Like, you are not okay.
It's crazy. And like this Megyn Kelly freak out where she's just like, this is a middle finger to all the whites.
And like, it's a middle finger to you. This white is just fine.
And then it's so funny to me. It's like, I haven't been a Maroon 5's fan since their first album. Yeah. When they got the Super Bowl a few years ago, I wasn't like, you know what? They're middle fingering me by putting that Maroon 5, I
don't know about middle fingering you. I love how
that Adam Levine.
He's middle fingering me.
How dare he?
Stop it. It's absurd. And like they also like the biggest losers in the world are the ones that A, were there and trying to dance, and B, were the ones performing. Someone that we went to college with posted this thing about like Bad Bunny's lyrics, and we're like, if this is what he was saying, we have to protect the children. And I just wanted to scream like, your kids don't speak Spanish. You're mad because he speaks Spanish. Your white-ass kids that you won't allow around any person of color do not speak Spanish. And you're worried that he might sing a song with a curse in it while you're listening to someone who literally wrote words about statutory rape. Help me understand. That's not who you want to protect your children from? Isn't it Kid Rock who said, like, it doesn't have to be something about statutory, it needs to be mandatory? Like, get serious. That's not who you want to protect your kids from?
You don't know?
He calls himself Kid Rock. Like, really?
Kid Rock has been washed in the blood of the Lamb. I don't know if you're
They need to dunk his ass again. Something's wrong with him. Oh my God. I just can't get over it. I'm like, what are you so afraid of? Why is it so offensive to you? And these are the same people who will go get on a plane and be like, I'm witnessing to people down here in Mexico. I have to go down here for a missions trip. And I'm just going to tell all of them about the good Lord. And then I can't have them in my NFL Super Bowl. This is some bullshit. English. Middle finger to white people. And I'm like, are you okay? Like, did something break in your brain? Did your prefrontal cortex, like, did that lobe not develop? Are you stupid? Were you dropped on your head? Like, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, I mean, but
She's
thank God.
Unfollow me.
Oh, yeah, seriously. All of our favorite people were at the Super Bowl. We had West and Ciara at the Super Bowl together, looking like pretty much pretty soft to hard launch on that relationship.
I don't know, though. I mean, they were at this... I realized that they were at this like boat party prior to with a bunch of Bravo people. So a bunch of people from Summer House were there. They just happened to be sitting beside each other. So I don't know. I'm wondering if they're like actually just cool and just friends now.
Maybe. I got a feeling I just feel like it's too much. I feel like either they're selling the show or they're together. Like it's one or the other. Like it's not just like, oh, we're cool together. Like this is either like publicity or it's real, I think.
I just don't want to get my hopes up. You know, because I would ship it so hard as long as Ciara doesn't get hurt. But
yeah, true.
But I don't want to hope. I don't want to hope too much.
And then Bad Bunny, you know, I didn't know one Bad Bunny song before Saturday, but he did bring out Lady Gaga, and that like he's number one in my book from now on. I'm like, thank you for giving me another Lady Gaga Super Bowl performance. I'm like, that's all I needed.
It was just pure joy. Like the fact that you could see, I mean, and living in New York City and having lived in California, you could see what he was doing, like the picture he was painting of joy. And like him giving the Grammy to his younger self, like all of that, like I didn't need him to speak my language for me to be able to understand what he was saying. And I thought it was a beautiful performance. I loved that he was telling everyone like, listen, this is my name and I believed in myself and you should believe in yourself too. And love is more powerful than hate. And I'm like, yeah, what a terrible message for children. How horrible. I can't believe that you would let your child listen to this.
And like, I'm of the persuasion where I would have loved for him to come out in like a F-Ice t-shirt, you know, but he didn't. He chose to be like what I see as very of the moment. And this is not about hate. This isn't about division. This is about having a good time, having joy, displaying my culture and in a thing that's like, this is America too. It's not that everybody speaks Spanish. It's not that everybody understands Hispanic and Latino culture. It's just like, that is a part of who America is.
Well, and also like America, like the Americas, he like starts listing everything out. We got Central America, South America, North America, and he lists out all these countries. And he's like, let me give you a quick geography lesson.
I also don't want to get historical on people, but I hate to tell you, but when Christopher Columbus landed here, he wasn't speaking English, speaking Spanish.
This is true.
And so, he wasn't the first person here either. So,
there were many languages spoken in this country before English.
Yes. So it's just,
but you know, you don't want to show history because they don't like books, and we forget this. People who are angry about it, reading is not at the top of their list of hobbies. So, and I'll leave it at that because I got a lot more to say, but I need to stop because I'll get too worked up.
Okay.
All right. So you wanted to talk about, do you want to save the stuff about...
Yeah. We can kind of just mix that in with the Summer House stuff.
Okay. You want to get into Summer House then?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I forgot that when we restart, like at the beginning of this episode, that it was going to be the first weekend, that we were still in 4th of July weekend. We're still
on
weekend
Saturday.
We're still, like we're still so early in the day. And I was just like blown away by that. And I also think that, you know, we're hit immediately with Kyle and Amanda in confessionals. And in his confessional, I really think that they have like split by this point because he looks like dead-eyed. What do you think? I don't know when they filmed it.
You know, when he's in that like black and white shirt, Yeah, like he's so ashamed of his behavior when he's looking back on it because like I think like he's trying to explain a feeling,
how he felt,
not his actions. And like I totally understand in that moment where he's at mentally and why he reacted the way he did, but there's no excuse for how he acted. And so he's like, I feel for him because it's like he has to explain the action for the cameras and for the confessional, but I empathize with the feeling that he's feeling. Like he's losing control of his relationship, he's losing control of the house,
of his business.
Like he's in a really bad space personally, and he doesn't have his partner who kind of always cleans up for him and like takes care of some of the emotional weight. She's not there to lean on like she normally is, and isn't there to care for him in the ways, you know, Kyle obviously cares for things in the relationship too, the type A kind of stuff, but he's got nobody to support him in all of this stuff, because he's effed up so many times that, like we said, like when a woman gets to the point of leaving you, she's been gone.
Done. She's been planning her departure.
And, you know, you go back to that reunion, which I think was the first time I remember watching that that episode last year and us just looking at each other being like, ooh, this is contempt.
Foreboding. Yeah.
I can't remember if it was like couples therapy or one of those therapy shows where Orna or somebody was like, the thing that you know that you can't come back from is when you see contempt in the hearts of the people who are trying to resolve the relationship. Like you can be angry, you can be upset, you can be furious. The moment that it gets contemptuous and it almost is just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like that's when you can't fix it. There's no reason
she has
to keep
contempt. And I think for him, he cannot figure out why. And everybody around him is pointing out to him over and over why she would feel this way. And he can't or won't accept it in the moment because he's like, this is just how I've always been. Why wouldn't she just accept it?
Well, and that night they go to like, you know, one of the bars around town or whatever, and he's with all the guys.
Before that, I want to point out something that she said in the confessional that you
please
pointed out too. They're asking him, like, why are you mad? And in that moment, he looks really upset. And he's like, listen, I know I don't have a leg to stand on because the hypocrisy of it's very clear. He's like, but I felt a weird vibe. The vibe was her contempt, right? And they ask her, why do you think he's upset? And she says, he always wants me to be fun. He wants me to be more fun, but he doesn't like it when I'm having fun. And they ask her why. And she says, unless it's directly with him. And so that is a control thing. Like,
yeah.
And that goes back to your point about losing control. And I think when she realized that, like when that clicked for her, that's when she was like, I am not just yours. And I honestly think the moment that she was like, this was when she expressed a desire to do one thing on her own, and he lost his ever-loving mind and was like, I'm going to be a DJ. She keeps bringing
that up.
Yeah. And I think that was the moment that she was like, I have to figure out a way out of this. And, or at least the moment where the contempt began to build, because she could not believe that he would talk to her friends that way. He would humiliate her on TV like that and get that bent out of shape that she wanted to do one thing for herself.
No, I completely agree with you there. And when we watch that, I'm always amazed because like we have this rule where we're not allowed to talk to each other during the episodes. I'm far worse at it than you.
I was about to say, it's not talk to each other. It's you won't stop talking, so I have to tell you to wait till a commercial.
But when you make a noise or like look at me like you want to talk, I'm like, oh, this was something big, and that was one of those moments.
Oh yeah, we just looked at each other. But yeah, so they all go out for drinks, which is crazy to me that they're going out after partying all day. I think I clocked that they left at like 9:43. I would be in my bed passed out. I just like absolutely could never.
Especially being out in the sun like that. There's no way that I could have rallied after that. Most of them were like horrifically sunburned.
Yeah. There's not enough Diet Coke in the world that could rouse me at that late time and get me to go to a bar with loud music and cameras. No.
So I think like here's the big moment. Okay, am I good to go to that section now?
Yeah.
So they go to this bar. Kyle is obviously like inebriated beyond where he typically is at this part of the night.
Yeah.
And he goes up. I mean, he's really struggling. Like this thing with the pool has happened. You know, all this stuff is going on.
Well, Jesse calls him out. He's like, dude, you okay?
Yeah,
you got like a little spicy with Amanda.
Yeah, like what happened there? And obviously there was more than we even saw.
Yeah.
And he goes to that table. It's like West and KJ and Jesse, and there are other people around too. And he just starts like harping on Amanda and saying stuff of like revealing very personal things. Like
he's talking loudly with an audience that's recording.
Yes,
because they're at a crowded bar.
People who he's just met the day before.
Exactly.
And he's telling them that they don't have sex because Amanda smokes too much weed at night. I mean, like very personal, very direct things. This is not Lindsay and Carl, who they've known forever. This is brand new people to the house, intimate details of their relationship on camera. Yeah. And she walks up behind him, honestly, I think to kind of be sweet at first, and then realizes that he has effed up and is talking about her.
I want to say even more about that. So he starts by shaming her. I think this is kind of what happened with Lindsay and Carl too. He doesn't like that she keeps pointing out how much he drinks. And so he says, I mean, I hate to say this, but Amanda smokes weed every night. And they're kind of like, okay. And he's like, so... And that's when Wes is like, so she passes out? And he's like, yeah. And Wes is like, well, when do you have sex? And he's like, well, she passes out every night for 2 years. So you do the math. And then he goes on to like further embarrass her. And he says something interesting to me. First of all, he talks about how she like is dirty. Their apartment's dirty. They can't even hire a cleaning company. He had to get her mom to come out and clean a year ago because it was so bad. And then he says, my apartment smells like a frat house because she lives so like disgustingly. And I thought that was interesting. Like he still sees it as his apartment. Yes. And like this is part of the problem.
Business that they work for. You know, like,
he keeps saying like, I'm building this for our family. I'm doing this and that. But everything he does is for him on his terms. And the moment she tries to do anything on her terms, he absolutely cannot deal with it. He loses his mind.
Well, and like there should be an embarrassment also that he doesn't realize. Like, okay, let's just turn the tables. Say, I'm thinking to myself, my wife has stopped cleaning. She is not taking care of herself. She's smoking weed every single night to the point of blackout. It doesn't seem like we're having sex. It seems like our relationship's kind of on the tubes. Let me complain to all my friends about it.
Let me tell everyone but her.
It seems like this is just not the path. Like I would be wanting to protect you. I would be wanting to, like, I'd be going to you and be like, hey, this is getting so obvious between us that it's becoming obvious to other people. Like we need help. We need to go to therapy together. We need to like work on this. Like I would want to protect you. My initial thought and desire would be to protect us from other people's gaze. And his is always to like
on himself
side division and say like who's siding with Amanda and who's siding with me and like who sees it my way and who sees it her way. And that is a really quick way to develop that kind of contempt is when you really do feel like there are two sides, not two people working towards a common goal.
Yeah. So she comes up behind him and KJ is so cute. He's like, we got you, bro. We're here for you, bro. And Amanda's like, what are you saying? Where they feel like they need to say, we're here for you. Like, what are you complaining about? And literally all three of them just like slink away. They're like, we are 100% not going to be here for this because they have made it so uncomfortable.
And like, you know, I think there's part of me because, and this is just like, it's just because I love Kyle. Like I love him. I want to side with him sometimes, but it's like, he's done this so many times that like, she doesn't have the engine at all anymore to try to see where he's coming from. In the past, like she loved him so much that even when he was being super annoying or being like so drunk that like
she would hug him,
these latent feelings were coming in that she would be like, okay, I need to see beyond the drunkenness to the core. And you could see her do that and do that well. And she just doesn't have the energy for that anymore. And I don't blame her. Like, and honestly, like he's got a lot of issues and he's made probably a lot of like not great business honest decisions.
Yeah.
And like, there's so much to this that we don't see and so much that we have seen.
Yeah.
And so like last night, as opposed to the first episode where I kind of like, dang, Kyle's really getting, like, they're really stacking it on Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I was like, man, I really feel for her because she has just absorbed so much of his energy and so much of his, we all have a little narcissism, but she has absorbed so much of his narcissism over the years that she just does not have the motor for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you see her, like, this is how she's been coping, right? So she tells him, she's like, tell me what you want. What's upsetting me is, one, everybody's filming. Two, you are telling everyone but me how you feel. And like, he obviously will not, like, they are not having conversations at all in the week between, like, between their like weekends where they're filming. So he basically starts crying and is like, I want a friendship. I want this and that. You haven't asked me a question in years. And she's like, you exaggerate everything. And he just gets mad and storms off. Which every episode he's storming off.
You can't complain about lack of closeness and lack of communication and lack of like care when you yourself are putting yourself in a position where you're gone most of the week.
Yeah. I was going to say Bailey and Carl have to like put him to bed that night. And so we find out later that he's like so hammered, he could like barely walk to the room. But Amanda and Ciara have gone back early. I did want to talk about Bailey and Levi. I do think that they brought in a lot of fresh blood that's going to be really good. I thought they were very cute when they were in bed the next morning and Carl's like, who wants bagels? Because Carl's role is like dad of the group now, where he's like, what are we eating for dinner? Who's going to make dinner? Does anyone want a bagel? I'll go get a bagel. And Levi and Bailey are like absolutely stoked. But I also really appreciated the exchange where Bailey is talking about Ben and like looking into his eyes and Levi's like, yeah, I think that's true. I think he is doing that to you. Also, he is doing that to everyone. And so I don't think he's flirting with you. I was just like, that is a good friend who will do that for you and be honest with you right to your face. And Bailey took it like a champ and they were like accidentally matching and that was very cute. And I also liked that Ciara like slunk into Jesse's room because you could tell she wanted to get the tea from the night before because she and Amanda came home early. And then Amanda found them on Find My Friends, which is so weird. I had no idea. The house must be huge to be able to like look at it that close, like zoom in that much. But Kyle is still in a terrible mood that next day, which is so unusual because usually he cares like so deeply about the vibes of the house. And I think this is why Carl in his confessionals is like, you know, Kyle and Amanda fighting is not unusual. The way that he is behaving is like he looks like he's about to crumble. Carl can see a real difference because Kyle cares about the vibes and he is the one throwing the vibes like way off. And so they're in there just like, you know, chatting and gossiping. And he gets really mad and goes on a run. And Carl honks at him and tries to wave. And Kyle doesn't even like respond. So he's just like on one. And then they leave and go back to the city. And I actually wanted to talk about Ciara, Lindsay, and Amanda having drinks. It is so funny because 3 or 4 years ago, to see Ciara and Lindsay walking through that restaurant together, like for a little chat, the way during like the Austin drama and all of that they wanted to kill each other, even throughout the Carl and Lindsay of it all. So I really love that things have come full circle, which they often do if you give it enough time. I love seeing them chat and Lindsay talking about her life now and having a baby. And I really think Lindsay did it right. She had a baby really quickly with a very rich man. She has a beautiful apartment and she does not have to be with that baby every single night. Like,
no, I mean, I was going to say, like, has she cracked the code? You like have a child with somebody and then immediately split up and then they have them half the time. You have half the time. You get to live your life and have motherly time as well.
Maybe. She said she raised enough man babies, so she got a plan.
She did.
But I love it.
She
and then
looks
Amanda
great.
Comes. She does. She has her vintage great. Lindsay bob.
The bob is back.
I love her in a bob. She looks very cute. Lindsay comes up or Amanda comes up and Lindsay tells her like, hey, Kyle called me and said he had like a really rough weekend. And Amanda immediately knows that Kyle is calling everyone and talking about her. And Lindsay's like, yeah, he basically said that he felt out of place in the house for the first time because all of the guys are single and he's not. And Amanda, he feels like he's alone in y'all's relationship. And Amanda is like flabbergasted because she's like, okay, I've asked him to do 2 things since we've been together. Cut back on the drinking and stop staying out all night. Only because since he cheated on me, rumors, she's like, I would not care, but rumors swirl and I get DMs and I'm sick of getting like grainy pictures of him in a corner at a club and I don't know what's going on.
Well, you're missing a key part, which they didn't show in any of the clips, but she actually says before she says that, she said, to be honest, if I really search deep within myself, I am so proud of him and happy for him that he's having this creative outlet because he's never had that. And like, even with all the stuff with Loverboy, it just makes me feel good that he has like this creative outlet that makes him happy. That being said, he is not being smart about how he's doing it. He's doing it in what feels like a spiteful way. And what I've asked from him, it's like, there are ways that he could be doing this that would be respectful. It's like he could go do his set and come home. But no, he goes and does the set and then stays out until 6 a.m. Like, there's no need for that. Like, she's not saying, like, I think like the previews and the clips and the memes all want us to think Amanda's just this killjoy that doesn't want him out there DJing. That doesn't have anything to do with it.
Well, she said in the previous episode, like, I know another DJ that does his set and comes home.
Yes.
And her point is like, I don't care if you drink and do your set, but please stop staying out all night. I'm sick of hearing rumors and getting messages about it. Like, we are public figures. You can't do this and expect
like
to stay in this
staying on
marriage.
Someone's couch is not.
That's like, embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing because it's just like, this is not a friend of ours that you spent the night at. Like, you ended up on a fan's couch. It's like if Kyle Cooke ended up on our couch after a night of drinking. That would be odd enough.
Well, I would be like, get this guy out of here. Like, what is wrong with him? And I love Kyle. And so, it's just a strange look. And she's like, and it's clearly showing that like, he's not okay. Like, if you need to get that hammered to like, you know, let loose, then like, what else is happening? Like, why can you not feel okay with your own thoughts?
Well, he's sad about not having the connection. He's sad about not having the intimacy or whatever. But like, it's so obvious why he's not getting it. It's not like there's some fundamental problem in their relationship about intimacy or connection. It's his actions.
And we can talk about him and Carl now if you want to.
Yeah. And so I think the biggest thing is, it's like, this is where him and Carl go to Carl's new apartment in Brooklyn and they're hanging out and Kyle starts unloading about the troubles with the business and the fact that he's had to do a cash infusion of $500,000 just to keep the business afloat. He's not taking a salary from Loverboy anymore. And part of the reason he's doing so much DJing is because it's basically paying for their lifestyle because it's extra money. I mean, they have money from the show. They have money, you know, in other things that they do.
The city.
Yeah. But to keep up their lifestyle that they've had from having the Loverboy income, he's been doing these DJ gigs.
Right. I also noticed that when he was talking to him, he said, I get that I travel and work a lot, but when I do try with Amanda, it's not reciprocated. And it's like, you can't ignore something and try a little and expect the full reciprocity there.
It's like, I come home with like some chocolates and it's like, okay, what? You don't want to jump my bones and forget about all the hateful stuff I've been doing?
Right. I think he just doesn't understand why she would feel the way that she does.
And what that shows me is that has worked for a long time.
Yeah.
Where he had shows so minimal
much
effort. And she comes, and we've seen it. Like, he acts like a a-hole to her or like just behaves badly, not necessarily to her, but then she gets angry and then his reaction, what's going on?
Sorry, Doug was crying and he's had diarrhea all day and I wanted to make sure he wasn't going to poop, but I think he just wants food.
Oh, okay.
He can't have any, so it's okay. Yeah, he's 10 years older than her. He's been her boss. And then he gives her minimal effort and she's like, okay.
Every time she kind of comes around, it's like feels sorry for him because like, oh, he's expressed his emotions now and
Right.
we've come together. I mean, it happens with everything. It happened with her leaving her job. It happened with them deciding to get married. It happened with the prenup. It happened with the cheating. It happened with like over and over again. He has done this exact same thing where he screws up and then he comes with, I've thought about this. I'm really sorry. Minimal effort. Mm-hmm. And she completely forgives him. So he's like, why is the code broken? Right. Why is my cheat code not working?
He doesn't get it. And Carl tries to give him some advice about his experience with Lindsay. And just says listen, I know this is complete. Well, he says like, these are not comparable, but he's trying to give him advice about being like in the public eye with this, basically to say like, think about how you're reacting on the show.
No.
You know what I mean?
Carl's right. I'm not saying Carl's not right, but like I just know like when you're hearing from a non-married person about like your relationship, or even someone who's not in a relationship telling you about relationships. When I tell you, my eyes just roll so far in the back of my head, I can't possibly listen any longer. So I can even see that in Kyle's face a little bit. Like, I know you're not talking to me about you and Lindsay, right?
Well, that's when Kyle's like, we're not on the brink of collapse. And Carl's kind of like, okay.
Yeah, you are.
Sure.
You really are. I would argue
Carl
that
is
you are.
Viewing it. And then they cut to the second weekend and everybody is arriving there. I actually found the beginning of this weekend, Amanda, to be kind of annoying. Like the way she got out of the car, and she says like there's been no conversation the entire week about how he acted. He's not apologized. He hasn't tried to discuss anything with me. So she gets out of the car, pours herself a glass of rosé, and goes and like sits on the new furniture in the back. When he tries to like ask about stuff, she does like completely dismiss him. And then when Bailey and Levi, one thing that's really annoying me, I think about this situation is that because Amanda is so irritated with Kyle, she is like fixated on being with Ciara because Ciara is the only other person that she's been able to like tell the full truth to. And because of that, I feel like she's kind of ignoring Bailey and Levi and like leaving them to their own devices. It's giving kind of the same energy that she did to Lexi last year, even though I think Lexi brought a lot of that on herself. Because she looks at them and complains about Ciara still being like 30 minutes away or whatever. And they're like, hey, we're your friends too. And your husband's here. And she's like, okay. She was just acting really weird that particular day.
She's always she kind of has that like passive aggressive energy. That's kind of how she deals with like her negative emotions. And so I think like I said, when you're going through stuff like this in your relationship, like it brings out the absolute worst. It brings out like all of Kyle's weird insecurities that he really shouldn't have, but he gets super insecure, super socially awkward. And then she gets like very, very like snippy and sort of like passive aggressive. And so it brings out the worst parts of them.
Yeah.
Like they're deep into dissolving. This is exactly what happened with, to Carl's point, this is exactly what happened with him and Lindsay.
Yeah. When they're out there and they're all sitting together and Jesse says he wants to go to common ground to like hear his friend DJ, Kyle's like, I want to get my credit card. And I did get tickled when Wes was like, do you want to get your forehead skin? Because I 1000% thought that he said foreskin. And I was like, what? I was like, why would he need to get that there? And to find out that night that he had like fallen
and hurt himself.
Yeah. And Jesse being like, I think everyone agreed, the venue and Kyle, that it was time for Kyle to go. And so Amanda, again, who's so used to like being embarrassed by Kyle getting trashed and people having to like bring him home, is like, oh, Kyle making one good decision after another. But she like went off.
It's so embarrassing for her.
It is.
Like you go to sleep and you think, oh, I'm just going to bed, and then you hear stories from everybody, even which is like, it's like people are telling stories like, ha ha ha, Kyle, but they're really like, your husband's pathetic. Like we had to literally drag him to bed. And then they start trying to
defend him, and they're like, oh well, I've done that too. And she's like, are you married? Shut your mouth.
Do you do it every weekend? It's just like. Yeah. Do you do it during the week when you're doing DJ sets in Atlantic City? No.
Right. And then Kyle says that he's married to a cactus. which did make me laugh. But he said something else that I thought was telling, like she's trying to make a fool of me because she's actually speaking back to him now, and he's not used to that. He's used to her just like crying or walking off or being like, Kyle, whatever. And she's like actually coming at him, and I don't think that he's used to that on camera.
Well, and like part of, I don't know that this is how I've seen it, but I think the way he has seen their relationship on the show is that they're fun, that they kind of are the mom and dad of the house, that they kind of like, you know, and Amanda does a great job of this. Like she kind of orchestrates a lot of the conversations and gets people going sometimes. Like, and I think that now that he's seeing her in a weird way kind of expose him before the cameras and like kind of get the best of him in front of the cameras and expose some of these insecurities, even the stuff at the pool, like it's making him upset because he's like, this is what we used to do to other people. This is kind of how we used to like mold the stories and stuff. Yeah. But now it's at my expense. What the hell is this about? And it's not something that I want to share. It's not my story I've chosen to share. This is like, we're almost at odds with each other in the storytelling.
Yeah. We also got introduced to Mia this episode, which we know is she's someone who carries on throughout the summer. I thought she was adorable. She used to work at the Box and she calls it a sex club, which is so funny to me because that is where Lexi went with her parents and Jesse.
Yeah, with her mom and her sister.
Yeah, a real callback there. But now she's a realtor and she offers to, what is our dog doing? He's like losing his mind. She offers to cook the first night. I'm like, what a bold woman. The way I could never. I'll be like, you guys, I'll be your hero and I'll order us whatever you want. But there's no way in hell I would get there and cook for a bunch of strangers. That would be my actual nightmare.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Hellscape.
Look at him back on the.
What is he doing? He's like a cat.
Yeah, he's up on this.
Doug, you can't eat right now. Relax.
You think that's what it's about?
Yeah, he's like mad at me. Doug,
because you're not feeding him.
Yeah, he's trying to make a scene. And then we also, I thought the little conversation between Ciara and KJ was really sweet. When they're talking about like being black and white spaces, which is good because that's obviously what's happening in the Hamptons. But I love seeing the side of Ciara because she is just talking about how she's trying to be less rigid. And it keeps circling back to her braids where she's like, yeah, I'm kind of going back to like my youth and I'm reflecting on how protective my mother was and seeing it with like adult eyes that, you know, she was really trying to protect us. And she was also talking about how she wants to take some of these scarred relationships and salvage them because she wants everyone to be able to come together. And she's talking about her family, how she like really hasn't spoken to her family as much. But then obviously she's also talking about like her family at the summer house with West. And then KJ's like, you know, we're going to be better than how our parents were, even though we really love our parents. And I was like, you guys are so sweet. Like it was just a heartfelt moment.
Well, yeah. And I think there's something about that age where you're turning, like you're going into your 30s.
Yeah.
Where
she just turned 30.
Yeah. Where there becomes this like desire for you, not because you necessarily had bad parents or anything, but that's where the real reparenting of yourself begins, where it's like, okay, how am I really going to make changes to the way that either I was parented or like cycles that I find myself in? Like, this is the time to change those if I'm going to, and to salvage relationships that I still can and stuff like that. So I think that's
you also start seeing your parents as like people your age, like they were your age when they had you. And so you start seeing them like that instead of just your parents. Which is like obviously what people were just through.
Like who I am trying to parent
she's
a child.
Just a girl.
And that gives you such empathy when you think about like my parents were 25 when I was, or my dad was 25 when I was born. And I'm like, good Lord.
20.
Yeah. Like,
crazy.
And I'm like, I have such empathy for them. Like when I think of it like that.
Yeah. And then the last thing with Summer House, they have a group dinner. So of course, Kyle gives a toast. Everybody puts their drink down and he said, and I'm not done because he can't help But keep talking.
Clink.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? I have everyone's attention, and so I shall keep talking. And he basically, I guess, is trying to like apologize for the weekend before, but is like weirdly about to throw Amanda under the bus. And that's when Ciara's like, is this toast about you? And he cannot handle it. If he is addressing the table, we've seen this time and time again on the show, and anyone interrupts him or is like, what are you doing? He absolutely loses it. So he obviously loses it on Ciara, but he gets so angry. He's like, she laughed at me. And like that really sent him. And he like slams the door to the kitchen, and that picture falls off because he slammed it so hard. But it kills me that he got so mad at Ciara. The boys are all laughing.
I think the biggest thing is like Kyle is trying to operate this house like he's always done, which is like his idea of a moment for himself is like, hey, everybody, get around Papa Kyle. I'm going to tell a little tale. I'm going to put a nice little wrapper on this evening. And then people are kind of like, nah, we're tired of that. Like, enough. Yeah. And he's fallen apart. He doesn't know who he is in the house anymore. Yeah. Like, he doesn't know what role to play.
He doesn't have control of the house. He doesn't have control of his wife. And he's struggling with Loverboy. And I think he probably knows they should have sold it a long time ago. And now it's like a sinking ship.
Yes.
And so here we are. I was also thinking of Ciara because we're about to move into Traitors. And I was listening to something today, and they were talking, like, all these Survivor players are talking about how Traitors mess them up mentally more than any of these other games, because in Big Brother, in Survivor, in all of these other games, you know who your enemy is. Like, you understand what you're working against. And there, your ally ends up being your enemy. And so then you question everything. It's like you're constantly gaslit about your decisions. And I think that had something to do with the way that she entered the house last year. I think that was part of the reason that she was like so guarded and agitated when she got out of Traitors. Because she had been being lied to purposely for a show. And then, you know, gets out to this information that West has dropped and is like, are you kidding me? And it just made me think about that. But I wanted to get into episode 8. Where Rob guns for Candace and talk through. I mean, he is playing a magnificent game. And when they first chose him as a traitor, I thought, oh, that's a good idea. But I had no concept of how good he would be at this game.
No, I completely agree. And once he sensed that Lisa was weak, I mean, he just torched her.
Yeah.
And I don't think his plan was to go after Candace, but when Candace let it be known that she was not like gonna just play ball and that she
was gunning for him.
Yeah, like he was like, that ain't gonna work, and it didn't. I mean, he absolutely destroyed. I
was genuinely shocked. I mean, not Rob bringing like Mark Twain into it. It ain't the things you don't know that hurt you. It's the things you know for sure. And so when he knew that Candace really wanted to kill Colton, and he knew that she didn't know that Colton was like gunning for her, he was like, well, he's my best friend in the house, but I did just help with Lisa. So, you know, you do what you need to. Like, he made her feel like she had control. And I think that one of the reasons he has really good strategy is apparently he's really good at chess. And that's how he sat down and like got to know people. We saw him playing with Ron, but he did that with like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I think he just has like very long game strategy and spent time with people one-on-one, doing the whole thing with the dagger where he's like, guys, we just all need to keep it a secret. We just all need to do this. Like, all of it was brilliant strategy in building camaraderie. Like, literally none of them know it's him. Not one person. And none of them suspect it. She tried so hard to show them it was him. And all of them are like, that sweet man, it could never be Rob.
And Eric was, you can tell, I mean, we haven't
shaken.
Gotten to that yet.
His mouth is like agape.
Yeah. And so it's absolutely crazy. But I think like the thing we haven't talked about at all is this dagger that he has because of the competition that he won. Yeah. Where basically he's got 2 votes at any table that he wants to use, and he hasn't had to use them yet. 4
round tables. So he's used 1. So now he's got 3 round tables left that he can use it in. So I'll be curious to see if he uses it to save someone or himself.
Is that the second one, though? Because didn't he have that at the Lisa one as well? He did. He had the ability to use it. Yeah. So there are two down now.
So there are two more. And I also felt like Dorinda did a really good job in the round table talking about Steven. She had a really good point with Lisa putting the gold in his chest. And she clocked that and Candace. And I'm like, okay, Dorinda, you've been doing some really weird stuff out here. But I mean, those were good points.
She's like, that's the whole thing. It's like, you can look at little things that people say and little thing that people do, and you can kind of like make inferences like, oh, maybe that's a traitor. But the truth of the matter is, like, the traitors in all the seasons that I've watched pieces of, it's like they're never doing the thing that they think they are. Like, it's crazy. They're laying so much lower than you would imagine.
I also feel like they've caught them so much faster this season for some reason.
Well, it's because Rob literally threw two people
like a lamb to the slaughter. I also think that Eric is a genius person to choose to like have as a traitor with him for a few reasons. He was loud and wrong about Tiffany. And about someone else. I can't remember who.
We rewatched that episode, and boy,
the guy with the magic ears. Yeah.
He literally went for it.
And Johnny keeps saying that there's like boy energy in the turret. They already kind of suspect Steven, so it would be easy for Rob to get him banished. So to pull in someone like Eric, like nice sweet boy, it would be easy to throw him under the bus, which I imagine is what he plans on doing. So I was like, ooh, what an interesting choice, because there are a few guys left, but that's a good one to pull in and then let them banish.
Well, Rob's really got to... I hope maybe this would be my strategy. I don't know if it will be his, but like he really needs to lay low a little bit in these next two round tables because he's gotten out there and the next people that he puts up are going to have to not be traitors. Like, so he's going to be wrong. They're going to have to
be wrong. He needs to push for Steven, honestly.
Yeah.
If I were him, because of what Dorinda said about the gold, that's like compelling.
And I would put it on
her. Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, he's being smart. He's making alliances. He's a team player in the challenges. I think if you're going to be a traitor, if you're going to be in the game, period, faithful or traitor, the number one thing you have to do is create alliances and numbers, because it's a numbers game at the end of the day for whether or not you get sent home. And so you have to create relationships and alliances. And then you have to look for anything that will be compelling. And you have to assume, if it's me, if I'm there, I am assuming every time I come to that round table that they're coming at me. So like, what would I say to defend myself, and who would I go after in response? And I want to have someone ready to go after that I've told other people that I'm thinking, so it doesn't just sound defensive.
Yeah.
But I think Rob's going to win, to be honest. I think this will be a season where a traitor wins, and it will be him. He'll be like Suri.
Yeah, I think he's going to just power all the way through. I think it would really... Someone is going to have to catch him in like a pretty substantial lie or like see something that they shouldn't see in order for him to... I mean, my biggest thing is like... The biggest risk to him is that they're forcing him to bring someone else into his alliance, because you can't control that other person.
Right.
Like you can't make sure that they're doing the right things. And like the thing is like Eric has a lot of strong alliances and like trust in the house. And will he be able to lie well enough to
But it doesn't
like keep his story
It
straight?
doesn't hurt Rob if Eric can't, because he can throw Eric out. And then that boy energy is gone.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that they're all considering. So, and I don't think that they'll trust Eric enough after he's been so wrong for him to go after Rob.
Loud and wrong.
Yeah, I don't think that he's got... Everyone's like, oh, Rob is good at everything. Rob can paint. Rob can do this. Like, they trust him. And the times that he has said something... The traitors have been traitors. He's been nice and quiet when they haven't. And so I think Eric, they will not trust in the same way that they will Rob, to their own demise.
Summer of Rob.
It's the summer of Rob. He's out in those streets. I'm very excited about the next drop. I'm excited about watching Southern Charm tonight, which we didn't get into because last week it was just more of the same. I feel like it's just that Not Mad About It podcast posted the meme of like the 3 Spider-Men with guns on each other, and it's just Shep, Craig, and Austin. And I'm like, okay. All right, y'all are all mad at each other still.
Yeah, it's just like every single episode feels similar. I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it, but it's like there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's like it seems like we should do an episode pretty soon where we just kind of like catch up on some of these shows. Like there's some good stuff going on Vanderpump, but it's like it's kind of the same thing that happened the last episode. So maybe doing like a little catch-up pod next week could be good.
Yeah, maybe when I don't feel like I need to be taken to the hospital.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I think that's all I got.
All right. Well, go to popsnitch.com. There you can enter questions and snitchuations for the Snitchuation Room, which we're going to be doing a couple of new episodes for in the next week. Also, be sure to follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube we're trying to make it take off. We got like 13 more subs this week. So please go to YouTube. Hit our YouTube.
If you want to help us out, not only subscribe, but get a friend with an email address to also subscribe. We thank you so much in advance.
All right.
Love you
bye.
guys. Bye.